Chapman News is there.
We have to stand up for everyone's freedom.
Chapman News is there as Orange County residents join a nationwide protest against Trump administration policies. We'll tell you more coming up.
I'm Angela Hara, live on the Chapman University campus. Coming up, we talked with 2 faculty members. They are among the hundreds of professors across the country who have had their research grants terminated by the Trump administration. We'll tell you what they have to say.
More and more young people are gambling, and now there is a concern it is becoming an addiction. We'll take a closer look. That story, plus your weather and sports, coming up today on Chapman News.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Chapman News. I'm Courtney Kim.
And I'm Prinny Martinez.
It's been another up and down day on Wall Street, a sign investors remain uneasy about President Trump's new tariffs. The S&P surged early this morning, only to lose all gains by the afternoon. Meanwhile, the U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer spoke to a Senate committee today. He dismissed the uncertainty on Wall Street and insists the tariffs will ultimately benefit working-class Americans.
I know everyone's concerned about Wall Street, and I'm just concerned about Main Street and getting these jobs back.
Greer also said in response to the tariff, several countries have now indicated they are willing to negotiate their trade relationships with the U.S. However, China has said it will not negotiate and plans to impose a 104% tariff on American imports starting tomorrow.
California Governor Gavin Newsom wants goods made in the Golden State to be exempt from President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Newsom posted a statement online late last week addressing California's international trading partners, saying, quote, "As the 5th largest economy in the world, the Golden State will remain a steady, reliable partner for generations to come. No matter the turbulence coming out of Washington, California is not Washington, D.C." While the White House dismissed Newsom's statement, experts say California has considerable economic clout with its major trading ties with Mexico and Asian countries.
The U.S. Supreme Court today has given the Trump administration a win in its efforts to dramatically downsize the federal government. Last Thursday, a lower court ordered the administration to rehire 16,000 federal employees who were fired in February. But now in a 7-2 vote, the Supreme Court justices have said the unions and other groups who challenge the mass firings do not have legal standing in the matter.
Protests opposing the Trump administration's policies unfolded nationwide last weekend. Chapman News reporter Nathaniel Rudolph shows us how the movement reached right here in Orange.
From the National Mall in D.C.
We are America and we ain't going nowhere.
To quiet parks in California, voices rang out with the same message: hands off. Hands off our rights, our future, and our democracy. More than 1,000 rallies like this one took place nationwide. Protesters say they're pushing back against the Trump administration's sweeping federal cuts and threats to civil liberties. Here in Orange, hundreds gathered outside City Hall, calling for their elected leaders to stand up to Trump and warning that silence is complicity.
I believe in freedom. I believe in integrity, and that's not what's happening. And we have to stand up for everyone's freedom.
Some attendees say they're not just witnessing the impact, they are feeling it, firsthand in their jobs and communities.
I work for a state agency, and right now the administration is indiscriminately gutting federal funding for things including environmental protections.
Organizers say the rallies were also a rebuke of Elon Musk's unelected role in policymaking, as he continues to advocate for wide-ranging cuts under a new efficiency initiative. But for many attendees, it wasn't just about policy. It was about family.
My kid, I'm here for him, and his future. Everyone else who I know of has kids and their kids' futures.
Protesters say this is only the beginning, and that their voices will get louder, not quieter, the longer they feel ignored. This is Nathaniel Rudolph reporting for Chapman News.
President Trump's controversial proposal for the future of Gaza calls for a U.S. takeover and relocation of millions of Palestinians. The proposal has sparked international backlash, and here in Orange County, college students and advocacy groups are speaking out. Chapman News reporter Yasmine Bari has the story.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it.
President Trump's proposal suggests relocating Palestinians from Gaza to nearby Arab countries. He claims it would offer them safer, more stable lives. He also says the U.S. could lead the rebuilding of Gaza, and even went so far as to post an AI-generated video representing his vision for the Mediterranean coastal territory. Pepperdine Middle Eastern Studies professor Amanda Rizkallah says the Trump proposal not only violates international law, but abandons the decades-long fight for self-determination.
There is a sense that leaving Gaza means abandoning the idea of a Palestinian state and a core part of Palestinian identity. It's kind of naive to imagine that the people of Gaza are going to leave in some voluntary way.
Aidan Hart is the president of the Chapman chapter for Students for Justice in Palestine. He says Trump's plan is another example of policy that ignores the plight of the Palestinian people.
The history of the Palestinian people over the past 3/4 of a century has been one of being refugees. It's been one of being forced day by day, year by year, decade by decade into more and more desperate circumstances, more and more cramped quarters, and a more and more precarious living situation.
In the end, Professor Rizkallah says no proposal will work unless Palestinians are involved in determining their own fate.
It's kind of a repeating of a lot of previous episodes in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, where it takes a long time for everybody to acknowledge that Palestinians themselves need to be at the negotiating table. And if they're not, then the solutions that are brought forward are not usually sustainable because they don't have the buy-in of the people most affected by them.
This is Yasmine Bari reporting for Chapman News.
1 month before the devastating Palisades fire in Los Angeles, another wildfire tore through nearby communities. Some residents impacted by that fire say they're being forgotten. The Franklin fire burned 4,000 acres in the Malibu area and destroyed 48 structures in December of last year. The fire came shockingly close to Pepperdine University, which issued a shelter-in-place order. When the Franklin fire first broke out, California secured some federal funding to assist the firefighting efforts. But now, many people are being told they don't qualify for federal aid to help rebuild their homes. A Pepperdine student, Matthew Morrison, who witnessed the fire, says it's frustrating.
Everyone needs help during this. You know, it's I can only imagine what it's like to lose a house and everything you own, you know, and then not have any support on that.
FEMA says the aid is only available for disasters that have been declared as a state of emergency, and that was never done for the Franklin fire.
NEH, or the National Endowment for the Humanities, is a federal agency that supports education and humanitarian research.
Several NEH grants have now been terminated by the Trump administration. Hundreds of professors and researchers nationwide received letters last week notifying them of their cancellation, including 2 faculty members here at Chapman University.
Our Angela Hara talked to both professors about the termination of their grants. She's live on the Chapman University campus in Orange now to tell us more. Angela?
That's right, Courtney and Prinny. Well, Dr. Alexander Bayle and Dr. Vivian Yan Gonzalez are just 2 of the hundreds of professors nationwide who have had their NEH or research grants terminated by the Trump administration. We talked with both to get their reaction. This is the letter sent to professors and researchers across the country. Chapman University history professor Dr. Alexander Bayle is a historian of Japan. His goal was to study the connection between Japan and the U.S. to help write his new book. He says it's part of the Trump administration's attack on both the humanities and higher ed overall.
It is designed, engineered to damage academia in this country.
The NEH fellowship that Dr. Yan Gonzalez received supported her research for a chapter in a new book she's writing. It is about the political experience of Japanese Americans who were forced into incarceration camps in the U.S. during World War II. She says research funding should not be political.
Good research should not draw conclusions based on our political views. I think there are far larger loopholes in terms of, other spending areas or other kinds of tax cuts that should be addressed.
Dr. Bayle says grants are crucial for researchers.
These are super crucial for faculty to get their research done, to produce new knowledge.
Dr. Yan Gonzalez says although her and Dr. Bayle have been fortunate enough to receive a year's worth of funding from the university to continue their research, other projects are going to be lost.
While we may be generous to have that kind of support and commitment from the administration, from Chapman University, many other researchers, many other people throughout the country who are also being affected by this effort to defund higher education are not so fortunate.
Now, both professors had received $60,000 worth of grants. The Trump administration now saying that the funding will be, quote, repurposed to further the president's agenda. I'm Angela Hara, live in Orange. Back to you.
Still to come on Chapman News, 2 Chapman seniors were honored for their work in advertising and are bringing their expertise to their next competition.
I'm Grace Song. Sunshine and warm temperatures are in store for OC this week. More on your weather coming up.
What are you doing in there? What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Social media claims questioning the safety of Girl Scout cookies have been debunked. Users of social media platforms like TikTok shared posts claiming the cookies contain harmful levels of toxic metals. Those posts came after a study conducted by Moms Across America, which claimed to have found trace amounts of arsenic and lead in the cookies. However, it turns out the study sampled just 25 cookies in 3 states. It's estimated that 200 million boxes of Girl Scout cookies are sold in the U.S. every year. The Federal Food and Drug Administration says the levels of metals are not harmful.
Gambling is on the rise, especially among young people, which is raising concerns. Chapman News reporter Assi Hann has more.
From online slots to casinos to sports betting, one thing is clear. Americans love to gamble. According to the National Problem Gambling Helpline, 60% of U.S. adults have gambled in the past year. Among college students, that number is even higher, with 3 out of 4 saying they've gambled within the past year as well.
I only sports bet on the NFL. When I go to the casino, I would say it's around 25% poker and 75% like table.
Chapman University sophomore Weston Little says he started gambling as a teenager and sees it more as a hobby.
I just thought it was fun.
But experts warn that early exposure can come with serious risks. Dr. Timothy Fogg, a co-director of UCLA's Gambling Studies program, says young people are especially vulnerable.
We also know that the younger people are when they start gambling,
And the more frequent they start gambling, that tends to be one of the biggest risk factors to develop gambling addiction.
A member of Orange County Gambling's Anonymous shares how it impacted his college experience.
My first semester of freshman year at college, I had like a 2.3 because I was not really listening to the lectures and I was just betting on games in class and stuff.
As gambling becomes easier to access, experts and recovery groups are urging people to stay informed and seek help when needed.
We've created a society that promotes and celebrates and embraces gambling, and particularly for the young people where they say, well, everyone's doing it and everyone's talking about it, why can't I? And I think that's an important area of distinction to say, no, this is still an adult activity.
I'm Assi Hann, reporting for Chapman News.
If you or someone you know is dealing with a gambling addiction, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER to connect with support and resources.
California droughts have continued to worsen over the years. This dryness can be a deadly breeding ground for wildfires. In an effort to stop fires before they happen, the San Diego Fire Department is introducing a new technology. Citrotech is a water-based fire retardant that can last up to 6 months without rain. Officials say more than 40 spots have already been sprayed in San Diego, in areas known to be at risk for wildfires, including some homeless encampments. Franklin Coopersmith, Deputy Director of the Environmental Services Department at the City of San Diego, told Spectrum News, quote, "We know we have a heightened reaction to preserving and making sure our residents are safe, especially these areas where there's an encampment just a couple hundred feet from a home with dry brush."
The journey to Mars could be cut in half because of a nuclear-powered rocket. Pulsar Fusion, a British startup, created Starbird. The rocket uses nuclear fusion. It releases 4 times more energy than nuclear fission. Pulsar Fusion says Starbird would be launched into space and attached to other ships in orbit as a charging station. The first prototype, estimated to cost around $70 million, is expected to be complete by 2027.
A Chapman University alum is shining a spotlight on climate change. Laurel Tamayo's new documentary, Healing Lahaina, has been selected for the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival. The film is about Tamayo's family, who lost their multi-generational home in the 2023 Lahaina wildfire in Hawaii. The project tells the story of the wildfire survivors and how the community finds strength and resilience through healing. Tamayo is looking forward to being part of the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival.
I think I'll be able to connect with a lot of filmmakers there that have similar backgrounds, and just really excited to share this story with more people.
Tickets for the festival and screening are available at laapff2025.eventive.org.
2 Chapman advertising seniors are part of a group preparing for a national competition this month. Chloe Wong and Cassidy Cho were recently named as 2 of the class of 2025's most promising students by the American Advertising Federation, or AAF. Wong and Cho traveled to New York City, where they created a pitch project with other advertising students and networked with industry professionals.
I think that phrase, like, your network is your net worth, really stuck to me. And especially since the honorees were made up of like the 50 top students in advertising in the nation, like that holds so much power.
It's just really cool to be able to talk with people who share like your specific like desires in this industry too. Because advertising is way more than just like the creative work that you see at the end. It's all the like strategy and data that goes behind it.
Cho and Wong are also part of a Chapman team competing this month in the National Student Advertising Competition, also known as NSAC. That is the top student advertising competition. The sun has come to OC this week. Prinny, make sure to bring out your sunscreen.
That's right, I will. Our weather anchor Grace Song will tell us all the weather updates. Grace?
Thank you, Courtney and Prinny. Wow, it is warm out there. Let's take a look at today's current weather conditions. Here in Orange on the Chapman campus, it's sunny and we're at 74 degrees. Let's move toward the national weather forecast, where there is a wide range of temperatures. Starting here on the west coast, Southern California is experiencing warm and sunny temperatures, which is pretty typical in my hometown of Los Angeles. Heading north, Washington and Oregon are expected to see partly cloudy skies and rain showers throughout the week. In the Midwest, South and Tennessee are in recovery mode after a weekend of heavy rain and deadly flash flooding. Flooding still poses a major threat in these areas as rivers are expected to rise until midweek. Moving on to the East Coast, don't put away your winter coats just yet. Strong cold fronts are bringing colder temperatures to the eastern U.S. Temperatures in cities such as Washington, D.C. and New York will drop into the low 40s. All right, let's check our weather here in OC. Conditions in Orange and Mission Viejo are expected to be sunny all day with highs of 77 and 75 degrees, kind of warm for this time of spring. I recommend finding some nice shade from the hot weather. Near the coast, and it's always cooler, San Clemente will be at a high of 63 degrees. This week is a perfect time to head to the beach or find a shady spot under warm temperatures. Here in Orange, as we head into our 5-day Fenestra forecast, temperatures will remain in the mid-70s through the afternoon, so make sure to stay hydrated if you're heading outdoors in the evening. Tonight, it would drop back down to the mid-50s. Overall, it should be a calm and clear night ahead. Looking ahead for the rest of the week, tomorrow is shaping up to be another day with plenty of sunshine and quite warm with a high of 81 degrees. As we enter into the weekend, Friday and Saturday will have partly cloudy conditions, though still warm with Friday coming with a high of 85 degrees. You don't want to forget to wear sunscreen and sunglasses. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Grace Song. Back to you, Courtney and Prinny.
Cosplay, comics, and the biggest pop culture buzz. WonderCon is back and bigger than ever in OC. That story coming up after the break.
Chapman will have new football rivals. I'm Czerena Martinne Bayle, and I've got the latest on those new additions and March Madness. Finding out more coming up.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How is it? Is it good?
After 3 years, the dystopian drama The Handmaid's Tale is back for its final season. The first 3 episodes are now available on Hulu, and new episodes will stream every week through the end of May. The series is based on Margaret Atwood's novel about a totalitarian society that treats women as property of the state. There were multiple delays in production of the show due to COVID and also the Writers Guild of the America strike. The finale will not mark the end of the story, as a spin-off based off Atwood's 2019 book, The Testament, is currently in production.
Every year in Anaheim, comic book and science fiction fans gather at the Anaheim Convention Center. I was there to get an inside look. Check it out.
WonderCon is back, uniting fans through panels, premieres, and show-stopping cosplay, including cosplayer Claire Bear, who encourages others to join in.
You know, if you've ever thought about cosplaying and you felt like you couldn't do it because you're not the right look or you don't have enough, you don't know what you're doing, I'd say just go for it, you know? There's so much to learn. Nobody ever starts out perfect.
WonderCon isn't just cosplay, it also celebrates comics, pop culture, and art. Inside WonderCon's Artist Alley, creatives like Joshua Hoagland get a chance to share their work.
And I make bootleg toys, I make prints, I do custom ink. This is artisanal ink. This year I made these special patches of a character. And let's see. Here's another piece that I just made for the show.
Attendees travel from all over to experience WonderCon. Gian, a con goer from San Diego, made the trip with his niece, the same city that hosts WonderCon's older sibling convention, San Diego Comic-Con.
But also we like to try something new, something different, new environment as well. Looking forward to see also like comic book creators like Jim Lee, because he's my favorite artist.
WonderCon returns next year on March 27th through March 29th, so make sure you save the date.
It is National Library Week, and it's a great time to visit your local library. This year's theme from the American Library Association is called Drawn to the Library. Chapman University's Leatherby Libraries is honoring campus librarians and staff for their work in the community.
Believe it or not, this year we actually decided to focus on the librarians and the staff that actually serve the Leatherby libraries and serve the Chapman community.
Chapman professor Amy Hurley Hansen partnered with the library to collect children's books to help those affected by the Los Angeles fires earlier this year. You can learn more at the Leatherby Library's social media handles, such as @Leatherby Libraries, to check out available resources and upcoming events.
A California state representative recently sounded the alarm on the condition of Angel Stadium in Anaheim. A report released by the state's auditor's department says City of Anaheim officials failed to pressure team ownership to do much-needed repairs on aging plumbing and deteriorating rusted steel. The city says it does not have access to inspect the stadium.
March Madness has officially wrapped up, and what an exciting tournament it was.
Our sports reporter, Martinne Bayle, has the latest. Czerena?
Thanks, Courtney and Prinny. March Madness has officially come to an end, and on the men's side, both teams fought hard for the championship, but it came down to the last seconds, resulting in a national championship for the Florida Gators. The Gators beat Houston Cougars 65 to 63, earning their first NCAA basketball title since 2007 and their third title overall. Houston led majority of the game but lost their 12-point advantage in the second half, fumbling the championship in the last 19 seconds. Over in the women's bracket, the UConn Huskies dominated the tournament, earning their 12th NCAA championship. They crushed South Carolina 82-59 in the final. Guard AZ Fudd was named the most outstanding player, finishing with 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. This year's March Madness did not disappoint, and I can't wait to see what next year brings. In 2026, our Chapman Panthers will have 2 new rivals. Whittier College and Azusa Pacific University will be reviving their football programs. The Whittier Poets will return to the field after a 2-year hiatus. Meanwhile, Azusa Pacific University is making a major shift, bringing back its football program after 5 years, but they'll be moving their entire sports program from Division II to Division III, joining the Southern California Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, or the SCIAC. I spoke with the SCIAC Commissioner Jen Dubow, and she believes adding APU is beneficial to the conference.
You know, APU has a nice history of success at Division II, and their athletic director and their president and their kind of senior leadership is committed to a good, successful experience at Division III. So from where we sit, it's going to be another solid program in the SCIAC.
I spoke with a few student athletes, and they feel that these new team additions are good for D3, and they're looking forward to the competition. Some new MLB baseball bats have been making headlines. The New York Yankees debuted a new oddly shaped bat during opening weekend. Rather than a traditional bat that gets wider at the end, the torpedo bat is widest near the label of the bat, closer to where players typically hit the ball. The new bat is engineered for speed and precision, promising more explosive hits. Some have questioned whether torpedo bats are legal, but MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred says the bat is, quote, absolutely good for baseball. And in the third race of the 2025 Formula One season, Max Verstappen clinched his fourth consecutive Japanese Grand Prix victory. Verstappen took the checkered flag, marking his first win of the season, followed by a papaya double podium with Lando Norris finishing second and Oscar Piastri finishing third. The race saw Japanese driver Yuki Tsunoda in the coveted second Red Bull seat, effectively replacing Liam Lawson after just 2 races. And with this result, Lando Norris leads the Drivers' Championship with 62 points, and McLaren is leading the Constructors' Championship with 111 points. Next stop, Bahrain, and buckle up because this season is just getting started. That's all for sports this week. I'm Czerena Martinne Bayle, and I'll see you soon.
Still to come here on Chapman News, did you know the boysenberry originated here in Orange County? OC is also home to a special festival celebrating boysenberries. More on that coming up after the break.
I'm Kestyn Hudson. Campus sororities and fraternities are giving back to the community and raising awareness about some important nonprofit work. I have that story after the break right here on Chapman News.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Good afternoon. I'm Natalie Ross.
And I'm Samantha Collins. Good afternoon and welcome to Chapman News. I'm Steve.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's
edition of Chapman News.
Since 2010, Chapman News has been covering weather, entertainment, sports, politics, and news, broadcasting from Dodge College's Marionette Studios.
As the only live newscast in Orange County, our journalists aim to highlight local, statewide, and national communities.
We're here to provide the most accurate, engaging, and relevant news for our community.
Tune in to our nationally recognized and award-winning newscast, Chapman News.
Watch locally on Channel 6 or on our YouTube to stay updated with the latest.
If you like boysenberries, the Knott's Berry Farm here in OC is the place to be this month. The park is making the 10th anniversary of its Boysenberry Festival. The festival features a variety of boysenberry dishes, pie eating contest, a large craft fair, and Peanuts character meet and greets. The event runs through April 27th. If you go, tag us in your festival photos at Chapman News on Instagram.
College sororities and fraternities are often stereotyped as party central, but there is another part of Greek life that is overlooked.
Chapman News feature reporter Kestyn Hudson joins us live in the studio to tell us more about 2 philanthropy events that are happening at Chapman this month.
Thanks, Courtney and Prinny. This week, I got the chance to attend a flag football tournament and observe rehearsals for an upcoming pageant hosted by Chapman Greek Life chapters. Both events are supporting national charity organizations. Take a look.
Students from all campus Greek Life chapters showed up on Friday to support Chapman Kappa Kappa Gamma's annual flag football tournament. Kappa Bowl raises money for the JED Foundation, which brings awareness to mental health and suicide prevention. Students repped Kappa Bowl merchandise and showed up to support the JED Foundation and watched their peers play games of flag football. Sophomore Gabby Holt, the philanthropy director for Kappa, says the issue touches many lives.
A lot of people resonate with mental health. They know someone who knows someone at a minimum, or they struggle with it themselves, especially amongst these college students. And it's really beautiful to see how big of a group this resonates with.
Meanwhile, Chapman's chapter of Delta Tau Delta has been preparing for its annual philanthropy event, Delta Queen, benefiting Breakthrough T1D. That is the leading organization supporting type 1 diabetes research. Delta Queen is a talent pageant with a representative from each campus sorority participating. Each contestant and their team spends weeks preparing and raising money by campus tabling and selling tickets. During the pageant, contestants perform for a panel of judges to see who will be crowned Delta Queen.
Watching everyone come together for an event like this where we raise $30,000 every year, and I think our chapter alone has even raised over $250,000 in our entire existence, just shows how impactful Greek life is as a whole.
Delta Queen is taking place this Thursday at 7 p.m. in Chapman University's Memorial Hall. Tickets are $15 and all proceeds go to Breakthrough T1D.
Greek life chapters have done lots of good supporting national philanthropies and have come up with very creative events to raise funds. For more information about Kappa Bowl and Delta Queen, follow @ChapmanDelt and Chapman Kappa on Instagram. This is Kestyn Hudson reporting for Chapman News.
That is all for this week's edition of Chapman News. I'm Courtney Kim.
And I'm Prinny Martinez. We'll see you next week.